Hey, LaserDude99 here. Okay, I was going through my home page. Yo, it's me, LaserDude99. Okay, I got another request. Oh boy, I love requests. Some Comic Stud asked me, hey, I know you love requests, so I was wondering if you could do the, he wanted me to talk about, underestimated comic book superhero or comic book characters. I'm gonna go characters, so I'm gonna talk about a few villains too. So by underestimated, I assume he means characters that are threatening, that are good, but aren't taken as seriously. Well, okay, let's get started. First up, we got Captain Cold. Now, I wasn't really into Flash too much before I got seriously into comics, but and I wasn't really that well known into his villains either. Like I always I always loved the Flash, from like the animated show to just a couple of the comics I read. But I didn't know really anything about his villains. And then when Final Crisis came out, the Rogues Gallery, Rogues' Revenge, I read that, and I basically I love Captain Cold. He's like I wouldn't say he's deadly, because he doesn't like killing. You know, he has a few rules, and he doesn't, don't kill unless it's necessary, sort of thing, or maybe when he feels like it. But he doesn't like killing, and that's different. That's different from what most villains are. Rather than, I'll crush your brain in my skull. And I think he's really smart. He's like, if you read Rogue's Revenge, I'm only on issue number 2. Like, I haven't had a chance to get the third one yet, but when I do, I almost want to do a review on that, because it's such a good book. The way he gets respect out of all of the other Rogues galleries and how they work. It's rather unique for villains to act that way. Take this one scene in the comic that I'm just about to show you. This is in Rogue's Revenge. All of these guys send a message to them through Mirror Master's mirror, and they say, we're the new Rogues, you guys are now no longer necessary. We have all of your inventions and stuff, and you guys better do what we say, because Captain Cold, we have your father, and if you don't, your father is beaten dead. And they all start laughing, ha 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 ha. And then, when I read this, I had to laugh. He says, beep you, kid. What? He says, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna kill all of you, and then I'm gonna kill my father myself. I mean, like, I just had to, like, he's such a cool character. I like Captain Cold a lot. It's probably gonna read some more Flash comics to see what happens with that, because the Rogues are really cool characters, and especially all of the Rogues are really underestimated characters, because nobody takes the Flash as seriously as they would Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman. Excuse me. So yeah, Captain Cold is definitely an underestimated character. Okay, moving on. Now moving away from the Rogues and into the Outsiders. Geoforce. Now, a lot of you may not know who Geoforce is. In the comics, back in the old days, Batman got like really mad at the Justice League for something, or he didn't like the way they. I don't know exactly what happened, but he decided to leave the Justice League and start his own team called the Outsiders. And Geoforce was one of those members. I like Geoforce. He's a really strong character, and his powers are cool. How he can do a lot of things. Like, he can make stuff heavier. He can make stuff heavier and move things with his powers. Not telekinesis. I don't know exactly what his powers are, but they're cool. Oh yeah, Geoforce is a nice character, and yeah, he's not as underestimated now, because he actually defeated Deathstroke, which is a huge villain. So yeah, so I think he's finally getting some recognition, and he's the field leader of the Outsiders now. By the way, did you know the Outsiders is now led by Alfred the Butler? Yeah, I know. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, Geoforce is another underestimated character. Okay, another character that people really underestimate is, of course, the Atom. The Atom is a good character. I don't know why he's really like nobody. Everyone underestimates him because he shrinks. That's his power. He shrinks, and even I did when I first like heard about going small. That's a D power. That's taking away power rather than giving you something to do. You're shrinking. Until I found out like he still maintains his same mass, so he's still as strong as he would be if he was, you know, if he was this small, he would still be strong as he was when he's fully sized. So that's a good power because you can go almost virtually invisible, punch a guy, and he'd be like, "What the heck's going on here?" I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. And he can also, as you kind of just saw in the image I just showed you, but you can go through. He can go through, ride phone lines. He can go into the line as an atom. Did I say Autumn? I don't know. He's the Atom. Um, he can shrink to the size of an atom and go through telephone calls. How cool is that? Professor Palmer, that's his name. He's a good guy. I don't know as much about him as I would like to. I really only know him from Identity Crisis, which is a good book. I would tell you more about what happened there, but I would be giving away the ending. So if if you read Identity Crisis, you know what happens, and that's pretty big, huh? But if you haven't, well, read it, and then you'll know what happens. That makes sense? Okay. I think some people just really can't get around the whole he shrinks thing. I don't know. I mean, like, it's fine with me. Shrinking, like, and people underestimate the power. Like, how useful could that be? You have a guy shrink to the size of an atom. You send him into a villain's meeting, and no one can detect him because he's the size of an atom, and yet he can still hear everything that's going on. He could be a great spy, but he's never used that way in the comics. I don't know why. In fact, I don't know. I think Professor Palmer is actually out, and there's a new Atom. I don't know. It's because of what happened in Identity Crisis. So yeah, the Atom is definitely a great character, but really underestimated. I mean, he's powerful too, but he's underestimated. Another comic book villain that I really think is underestimated. I don't have a comic book of him, or at least not a good picture of him. Is the Shocker. I think he's really underestimated. I actually hated what they did with him in Ultimate Spider-Man. I love Ultimate Spider-Man, but they made the Shocker a blubbering idiot. The Shocker's cool. Like, I mean, he's powerful. Those blasters that he shoots, I don't know what he shoots. They're shocks, and they do damage. That's all I need to know. And he's really underestimated. I like what they did with him in Spectacular Spider-Man, the TV show. There's a few episodes with him in it, and they portray him as a smart guy, a guy who actually thinks his strategies through, and which is good. That's what I like about him. I still don't know why in the Spectacular Spider-Man they haven't put Scorpion in though. He used to be so big, and now people's almost forgotten about the Scorpion. But anyway, moving on. We're not talking about Scorpion. I guess Scorpion could be an underestimated villain. I just don't know enough about him. I just think he looks cool. Anyway, moving on. I guess he's not much of an underestimated character, because he's getting lots of respect now, even though his character is dead. But I think the Question is an underestimated character, and people aren't really they underestimate him when they fight him, and it actually gives him an advantage. But still, I think the Question is pretty underestimated. I don't know. I might be a little off on this one, but I haven't read as many Question stuff as other people. But